Hello coders, I hope you are coding well. In the previous video, we created a page and API to get and show the details of the drink by the ID. And in today's video, we will create a new page, search by category, and we will call the API to get all the categories. And after this, we will show those categories in the form of buttons. So let's get started. So in our React application, first of all, we need to create a component, and to do this, we will right click on the pages folder and we will choose a new file, and we will name this file as search by category.jsx. Now let's hit enter, and after this we need to create the CSS file. So we will right click on the CSS folder and we will choose a new file, and we will name this file as search by category.css. Now let's hit enter, and as you can see both files are ready. Now let's go to search by category component, and here we will write a constant and we will name this as search by category, and after this we need to write a function, and in the body let's write a return statement, and for now let's return a div from here, and for the text we will write search by category works. Now we need to export this function, so we will write export statement, and after this we will mention default and we will export search by category. And after this we need to import the CSS file, so let's write the import statement, and here we need to give the path which is dot slash, and here we need to go to the CSS folder, and in this folder we need to access search by category.css. Now let's save this file, and after this we need to create a route for this component, and to do this we will open app.js file, and in this file let's duplicate the drinks route, and for the path we need to update it to /search, and after this we will update the element which is search by category, and we will import it from pages/search by category. And with this our routing is completed. Now let's save this file, and now we need to update our navigation bar to add a new button, and on the click of that button we will redirect the user to this /search route. So let's open our components folder, and in this we will open navbar.jsx, and in this file as you can see we already have a nav link for the search, and we just need to update the URL which should be /search. And that's it for the navbar update. Now let's save this file and let's run our application. And as you can see our application is up without any errors. Now let's go to the browser and let's validate the functionality of our search route, and in the browser we can see the home page of our application. Now let's click on this search button, and as you can see we got redirected to the search page, and for the content we have search by category works which is coming from search by category.jsx. Now let's go back to the VS Code and let's write the code to call the API. And before calling the API, we need to create a use state to store the categories. So let's mention the constant, and we will name this as categories. And to set the value in it, we will use set categories. And after this, we need to mention use state. And in the params, let's pass the empty array. And after this, we need to create a function to fetch the categories. So let's mention a constant here, and we will name this function as fetch categories, and after this we will mention async keyword, and we will write an arrow function, and in the body of this fetch categories function let's write a try catch block, and in the try block we need to call the API, so let's mention a constant and we will name the response as response, and after this we need to mention await keyword, and then we need to use the fetch to call the API, and in the params we need to give the URL. So let's create a constant here and let's name this as categories URL, and after this we need to set the value in it which should be www.thecocktaildb.com/api/json/v1, and after this we need to give the API key which is 1, and after this we need to give the endpoint URL which is /list.php, and for the variable c we will set it to list. Now let's go back to the fetch method, and in the params we will pass this categories URL. And after the API call we need to get the JSON from response. So let's create a constant here, and let's name this constant as drinks, and we will set the value in it by using await. And after this we will use response and we will call JSON method. And after this let's write a console log statement, and in this for the message let's write categories, and after this we will pass drinks. And now we need to set the value of the drinks in this categories use state. So we will call set categories, and in the params we will pass drinks. And after this let's write a console.error statement in the catch block, and we will show the message as error fetching data, and after this we will pass the error. And with this our fetch categories method is completed. Now we need to call this method in the use effect. So let's create a use effect here, and we will write an arrow function, and as the second parameter we need to pass the dependencies, which we will pass as empty array, so it should get automatically called just one time. And in the body of this use effect we will call fetch categories method. Now let's save this file, and let's go to the browser to validate the functionality of our API. And on our search page, to view the response of the API, we will right click on the page and we will click on inspect. And after this we will open the console tab, and in the console as you can see we are getting the categories. Now let's expand this array to view the content, and in one object we are getting str category, and the value of it is ordinary drink, and same like this we are getting other categories. Now let's go back to the VS Code and let's write the code to show these categories on this page. And in the VS Code we will go to the return block, and for this div we will give it a class of container, and after this we will remove this search category works. And in this container we need to apply a loop on the categories, and to do this we will use categories and we will call map method. And in this map method we will name the single category as category, and after this we will write an arrow function, and in the body of this function we will write a button tag, and for the key we will bind category.str category, and after this we will give it a class name of category btn, and after this we need to show str category as the button text, so let's call category.str category. And with this the code to show the categories as buttons on the page is completed. Now let's save this file. Now we need to write the CSS code, so let's open search by category.css file, and here I will paste the CSS code, and you can pause the video and you can copy this CSS code or you can write your own styling. Now let's save this file, and as you can see our application got compiled successfully. Now let's go to the browser and let's validate the functionality of our category buttons. And in the browser as you can see we are getting the buttons for all the categories. And that's it for this video. In the next video we will write the code to call the API on the click of these buttons, and we will get all the drinks for that category, and then we will show those drinks here on this page.